Brother Hondo, or I don't know, was there a question?
Take over everyone else's customs and make them yours.
Okay, so Brother Rabbi, do you want to, Rabbi Harry, do you want to comment?
All right, yeah, I mean, I would for sure comment, since he was saying that I was speaking about our transmission of the Torah, and I don't know if maybe you weren't listening, or I'll say it again, but I did certainly mention that there was a transmission as well in Ethiopia. So there's no question about that, and we're not trying to deny that. And in Israel today, I'm not necessarily coming here representing the government of the state of Israel and how they identify Jews around the world. I clearly am creating with my work in life, a platform where it's not about being Jewish or not, it's about having an identity. So the people in Afghanistan today, they're Muslim right now, I'm not trying to get them to convert to Judaism. That's just not a political, that's not what it's about. And finally, you didn't have to convince me that the people, and we spoke about this just 10 minutes ago, that the people of the ancient land of Israel were dark-skinned. The people, the Torah that we preserve teaches that as well. So we're both on the same page. It's not something to prove us wrong. I mean, King Solomon had 1,000 wives. Can you tell me the genetic makeup of each 1,000 of his wives? You can't tell me that one person may have come out a lighter skin and blended his way in. To make this about skin color is irrelevant. And just to end off, just to keep stressing that I apologize. People are taking it that I'm attacking what this rabbi is telling me about their culture and tradition. I was born in America on the YouTube Wikipedia generation. So I'm like, hey, Achi, my brother, where can I just see this? Like, where is it? I'm not trying to say I don't believe it. I just want to learn about this. You're telling me about 5 million to more people doing something. Where can I just read about it? Where can I learn about it? I'm going to Google and I'm not finding it. I'm having trouble finding it. Do me a favor, post a link, something like that. So not from one person saying it, from where it's very clear that this is happening across the board. And I'm not saying that from a challenge like you have to prove to me. I'm saying it like, hey, maybe that's a great reason that we could unite because we're part of the same, ancient family. So I'm not coming from a place of division that people may seem that I am. I'm coming from a place of inclusion, but I'm also coming from a place of transparency. And when people make claims, they have to, so there should be very easy Googleable. We're in that generation. I apologize if I feel entitled to be able to Google things.
Well, Basil, can you go ahead and basically go over what you were saying?
Correct. So I think because why you could not find it on Google because you did not type the correct thing. When I told you what to type, Gadangbe, it came up. So it's not that we are hiding.
Right now, but if you could,
you did not contact me. According to you, you asked Remy. You should have contacted me, and I've given you all the sources if you really wanted to know. But you did not. According to you, you talked to Remy.
Now we have a relationship, and now we can move forward in this dialogue. I don't think this is
just making it clear that we have to be transparent. And when we say something, we should know what we're saying and not step on anyone's toes. Okay, before we went to the question and answers, we're talking about the Hebrew script. And I'm hoping you're not saying that when Moshe wrote the Torah and gave it to us, he wrote the Aleph in the form that we have it today in modern Hebrew. Did he write an Aleph, or he drew a picture of a head of a sheep?
Mm-hmm. So you're asking me a question?
Yes, sir. The question is, I can repeat the question.
No, I understand the question. I'm letting you know my personal opinion on the matter is that I believe that the script we have today is much older than we think it is.
Did he use, when he wrote the Aleph, did he use 2 yuds and a vav, or he drew a picture of a sheep?
I personally would believe that he used 2 yuds and a vav, and
that is
what we have.
That is not right. We all know that is false.
I understand that based on what we found through archaeology, they may not align with what I'm believing, but based on we have an understanding of the transition. And I don't think this is a make or break point. This is just one of my versions of my traditions. I personally believe that.
The text of the Torah tells us that there will be 5 cities in the land of Africa that still speak that language of Canaan. That is a prophecy. So if you say you speak Hebrew, and I'm telling you that if Moses is supposed to come back, he cannot read the Bible that we have because he did not use the script. He used a pictograph, what we call.
Didn't he also translate the Bible into 40? How many languages? 70 languages.
That's not the question. I'm focusing on the Hebrew script.
All right. So I personally think for certain he would be able to read it. Whether the question is if that's what he originally wrote it in or not, so that's another question. But you can continue with your lecture.
How can you read something you did not write? If I drew the head of a sheep, how does it translate to 2 youths and a vav?
Right. Well, like I'm trying to say,
let me tell you why it's important.
The letters we have today are the building blocks of reality. We call them the DNA of the world.
I know them offhand. That is a tradition that you guys teach. Moshe did not write 2 youths and a vav.
Shouldn't get in the way
he
of
wrote the
peace
head
right
of
now.
a
That's
sheep.
our tradition.
Okay, so I'm telling you that we have the ancient Paleo Hebrew script. We speak the ancient Paleo. If that's the case, it means that we are more ancient. It means that the Torah that you claim that you have, if Moses cannot read it, then we have a problem. Because I can go down the 22 alphabet and show you what they mean.
Again, I don't know why that's a problem. If Moses wrote the Torah in 70 languages, why do we have
He first wrote it in Hebrew. You don't speak those 70 languages. You speak Hebrew. And I'm telling you, what I'm showing you, what I'm trying to do here for the audience is that the Paleo Hebrew script that Moshe used to write the Torah is still used today in Even Yigba. So my question is, how do we have the ancient tongue? How do we have the ancient tongue and you don't have it? And yet you're telling me that you have a transmission. Well. How do you have it if it's not the head of a sheep? If it's not Bavo, if it's not Hihe, if it's not Yashi.
I mean, the script that I'm talking about is already in the time of the prophets in Ezra and Nehemiah, who were already writing
with the
script that I'm. I mean, we're finding coins under the temple that are not the head of a sheep. That they're actually, you see, what their representation for an aleph would have been from First Temple periods. You know, so at the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, I believe already, which is still in the periods of prophecy, I already believe that this was the language that the letters that we have today was coming from for sure that time, and so.
But that is not the question you're avoiding is that's not.
So this is not for me. This is not a concept who's the older community, who's not the older community. All I'm trying to say
that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to use these customs and traditions to show you that we say we are who we are, because that's what you ask. Do we have customs and traditions? And I'm telling you, we have customs, traditions, and we preserve the ancient tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what you should do is try. So now, what you should do, if you really want to know about it, is ask me, where can I find these things? How can I learn it?
Yeah, because I'm definitely going to pick your brain, and I hope that the Hebrew to Negro show should provide links also to show that these phenomenons are stretching through different clans and cultures. Because I'm learning something new. Prior to this phone call, I thought 99% of the culture of these different groups had nothing to do with each other. Now you're telling me the exact opposite. So I'm open-minded. I'm willing to learn and go in depth. You know, so I'll definitely reach out to you to send me information for sure.
Awesome. Well, and then if I have one more question, if that's okay. You said you could trace your lineage back to. You guys have kept a tradition. Back to, is it David? Ezra. Did you say that? Ezra?
Definitely.
Are you tracing
There's people today who trace back to King David, certainly, but our Torah transmission comes back from the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, who they were from a Torah transmission, we know, from the men of the Great Assembly and from the judges of the First Temple.
Okay. So you can trace the Torah, but not your family lineage. That's what I wanted to find out. Why I'm asking
Well, we
is
trace the humans. We know some of them were converts, some of them weren't converts, but it's not a hidden secret. We're not trying to cover that up. We're very proud of the people who converted over time and played a role in becoming Torah sages and passing on the teachings.
Okay. One last question for you. When Joshua was trying to find out who had taken something and Israel had lost the war that they went to, the Most High told him how to look for this person. He describes the Hebrew family structure. If you read Joshua chapter 7, you see that. He was told that he should bring the people according to, they should come near by families, by households, by tribes, by man by man. That's what it says. So it says tribes, families, household, man by man. This is how the Hebrew family was structured. Do you guys keep this family structure?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely people today who are from the Kohen, who are traced back from a specific family clan of the tribes of Levi. We have Levites today, and we have people whose last name are Benjamini, which means they're from Benjamin. For sure, I think there's an aspect to that. But I would ask you a question also. When you had these family clans and the men, so how would the multitude that came out with Egypt with them, they would be part of the men. They wouldn't have a clan or family they would belong to, but certainly they were considered equals. They were part of the nation.
Correct. But what I'm saying is, if you look at how, example, when Moshe came to Egypt to tell the people that Yah says, I'm bringing you out, he told the elders. And then the elders told 3 million people. The question is, how did they achieve that? It was through the family structure. When you look at Joshua 7, we see the Hebrew family structure. Tribes, families, households, and then man by man. If you come to Evan-Yigba, Hebrew land, I can tell you my tribe. I'm from the tribe of Gad. I can tell you my family. I'm from Amachewe. I can tell you the household I belong to. I belong to Ni Amakwa, Amar's family, and then I'm an individual of my own. So when you look at this structure, that the Most High himself commanded Joshua how to find somebody is this structure: tribe, family, household, and then the individual. We have kept this. And I wanted to find out if that's the same. So if I should ask you your tribe, your family, your household. No, so if I should ask you that, are you able to tell me your tribe, your family, your household?
Well, I can tell you the name. So when we get called up to the Torah, it says they call me up my name, the son of who. So I could tell you I am the son of the son of the son of the son of back 2,000 years. Some people could do that for sure. But I would say in Afghanistan today, where they say they're from the lost tribes of Israel, they only intermarry within certain family clans, and they actually, I've seen their family trees that to go back to King Saul, where they have sub-clans and mini clans within clans, and for sure. So that's something that I would say they have preserved. But a lot of from the Judean exile, a lot of things have been lost as well. As far as you get sold to Rome on ship slaves, the fall of the first temple. So we know which families are the descendants of the Israelites that were sold to Roman slaves. We know who their last names are today, and they trace back. These are Wikipedia pages for them. Research has been done. Family documents from 2,000 years ago has been found. So there is an element to that as well for those who are able to retain it. But that's fascinating that you live that way as well. On your side.
Well, Basil, we have a caller. I don't know if he's still on the line. Named Benjamin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. Hello, Rabbi. I just want to comment about the Yoruba. Now, first and foremost, I heard you saying that the Yoruba don't circumcise on the 8th day. Being a descendant of the Yoruba, and
how they do.
Okay. Well, I understand, and I'm coming respectfully to you. I know there's a whole lot that you haven't heard, but so what I'm about to give you some sources where you can start the study and make your own conclusions, all right? And I'm about to point out some facts about the Yoruba. What Rabbi Basil is saying, Akwete, is very true about the Ewe and all of them. But I'm going to specifically speak on the Yoruba because this is the culture I've been knowing the most, okay? One, you're going to want to get books by Modupe Oduyoye. All right. He speaks on the linguistics of the Yoruba, and when you look at these linguistics, you will find that there are a whole bunch of Hebrew words. As we know, the most important thing to any man in his culture is his God. Tell me, why is it that almost every single word for God in Yoruba has a direct Hebrew cognate? We can go to Oloran, El-Ram in Hebrew, Eloah, Olua in Yoruba, Olam in Hebrew, Elemi. I mean, we can find all these words, several cognates. Even at that, if I am not mistaken, Sarah did call Abraham Baal, which means Lord, correct? When you go into Yoruba society, you find that women call the head of the compound Beale. These are basically the same words, and they did not come transmitted through Islam, because a lot of these words are predating them. When you start studying the Yoruba system and the Yoruba language, and when you really start paying attention to traditions, just as, let's say, with prostration, when a Yoruba man bows to his elder, he gets all the way to the ground. You find the same thing being portrayed in Genesis when they approach anybody that is of a higher caliber or that is higher than them, or when they're seriously giving worship unto Yahweh. All right. So what I am pinpointing here is the fact that there's a heap of evidence there. All right. We have circumcision. We have all these words. In fact, there's a whole. It's so many words. Nobody really detects it. It's so many if you really study it. And I'm not, mad or anything. I understand that first you came and you said that this is stuff that you haven't heard of, that you haven't known. And I understand. But first, I would just like to comment, just as a friend to another friend. I know that you must really want to research this. I would just suggest really sitting down and researching the cultures thoroughly. And I'm not sure, but you got to be careful what the Igbos say. And I'm not going against any.
Well, basically, what he's saying that you look at the Yoruba, and you look at their divination system, the Ifa system, the Igbo Afa system, even the Ifa system with the Ewe and Voodoo, and just like the ancient Umim and Thumin, the oracle, or what you had the priest used to do back in the day with the kola nuts and the divination tray. These are all basically things that are ancient in Hebrew traditions and customs. And he's right. A lot of times you look at the priest of these areas and the Ephas and the Aphas, you'll see that they are using languages that go back to ancient Hebrew. So, like I said before, in the genetics, the Yorubas are basically the same as the Igbos. They're all genetically the same. They're all brothers. They all came from Jacob. They all came from Israel, migrated into Africa. So there's no difference between the Ga, between the Ewe, the Akan, the Oyo, the Yorubas, the Edo Bini, the Ibibio, the Igbos, and the list just goes on and on. So basically, I'll let you just, we got about 8 to 10 minutes left before we close out. So if you want to make some last comments.
Yeah, so you mentioned about some people who are Kohen. I guess you don't know about the Wulome in my tribe. Wulomo is someone who sees the future. They are a high priest. And they keep to the Levitical commandments, laws that was given to Moshe, like not going near a corpse. They actually have a Holy of Holies where they go to get words of prophecy. They don't shave their beards. They wear all white. You cannot go near them if you're not circumcised. Yeah. The Kohens that you mentioned about, do they keep these traditions and customs?
Yeah, the Kohens definitely don't go to graveyards, etc. And they don't, I believe a Kohen is also not allowed to marry someone who was once divorced. They keep those as well. And if someone in our community today, let's say a Kohen married a woman who was divorced, then his children would have that status removed from them. And then we would remember for all the history that this Kohen lost. There's actually a family today whose last name means Kohen who lost their status as being Kohen if something happens.
Okay, so I'm saying this so that you can study that too, because we have the same thing. We have the Wulomes who follow to the detail, to the T, what is written in the Torah. And one of our Wulomes, he was called Numo Ogbame. He was the one who discovered, after the European missionaries had come to the shores of West Africa, he was the one who discovered that the Torah, or the book of Moses, the culture in it was similar to what we were doing, even when the missionaries hadn't showed up yet. So it's something that, like I said, is a culture to it. And we can see it right there in the Torah.